girlfriend. Welcome to a special episode of the Hope After Breast Cancer podcast. Are you tired of just surviving breast cancer? Well, you've come to the right place. Our beautiful contributing expert and integrative nutrition health coach, Karin Del Maestro, is about to share her top tips for a thriving lifestyle with you. I know you'll enjoy her coaching. Here's Karin.
Hello there and welcome. My name is Karin Del Maestro, your health and transformation coach, breast cancer and BRCA2 thriver. And today I'm going to be sharing with you the right foods to eat after breast cancer. Now, like many of us, you've probably been wondering, right? It's one of the questions I get asked more than anything else. Karin, what should I eat? And if you happen to have looked on Google, you will notice that there are 24,700,000 answers to that question. Now, I don't know about you, but that feels just a tad overwhelming. Yeah. And I know what we do when we're already exhausted and drained, and now we're overwhelmed. We end up changing nothing. I want you to know that that is not your fault. You're not doing anything wrong. You're simply a human living a human existence. But I'm here today to simplify this answer for you because I don't know about you, but I like to make things easy. I like to make things simple so that we can actually do it, right? So other than Karin, what should I eat after breast cancer? The next question I get asked, do I have to be vegan or vegetarian? And often that's exactly how I'm asked, with this disdain in the voice. Like, you don't want to give up your juicy burger or your steak or even your chicken. But here's the thing. Yes, we want to eat more fruits and vegetables. Yes, we want to eat more legumes, but not everybody thrives, and I'm all about thriving. Not everybody thrives with a vegan or vegetarian diet. So sit down, grab a cup of tea, get cozy here, because we're about to dive into the undiet, right? I don't want diets. I don't want you necessarily to be vegan or vegetarian, but I do want you to know, and you've probably heard the saying, that you are what you eat. Have you heard that saying? Probably, right? And so and you may not have realized what it means. Maybe you do, but think about it for a second. How do you feel after you've eaten pizza and maybe you've indulged and eaten a slice more than you normally do? Okay, again, we're all human, right? Or Chinese food. Big bowl of pasta with meatballs. How do you feel? Do you feel sluggish? Do you feel bloated? Do you feel like you're in a food coma and you just want to take a nap? Quite possibly. Now, on the flip side, how do you feel when you have a nice big salad or a bowl of vegetable soup, or even a juicy steak that's grass-fed, pasture-raised with some veggies on the side? How do you feel? Energized? Ready to conquer the world? Lighter? Not as bloated? Right. So food has the power to energize you or deplete you. And I don't know about you, but to me, the right foods are the ones that energize me. If I've got a choice between foods that are going to make me feel crappy and sluggish and make me break out and bloat me, make me want to take a nap, versus foods that are going to give me energy, keep me not as bloated, have glowing skin and eyes, I know which one I want, right? I want to be able to fit into my jeans and I'm not have something going over the top of them. Not always possible, but we want to feel good. We want to feel good in our skin. And what we eat has a huge impact on that. So you're here maybe wondering, okay, Karin, you said I don't need to be vegan or vegetarian, and you don't. So what do you do? Well, I want to clue you in to my approach. Now, obviously, we've got limited time here. And if you want to dive more into this subject, plus other things that are going to help you thrive, that in fact are essential for thriving, I'm going to give you a link in the show notes at the end to share my whole approach with you. Okay, where you'll get a breakdown of foods, what to eat, what not to eat, like the specific foods. And in this series, where we're talking about steps for thriving after breast cancer, in this series that we are doing right now, you're going to learn a little bit about the other steps. Okay, but today we're talking about food. So my approach, as somebody that has studied over 100 different dietary theories, who is really in tune with how I feel in my body, this is the one that I have not only felt and tested on myself, but that I see working for my clients. And that approach is to eat the foods that help lower inflammation. Now, why is inflammation important? Right? You may have heard of the word being thrown around, but you may not realize why it's so important to you. And I think it's really important to understand why it's important to you, right? It gives us more motivation to make the changes when we know how it affects us specifically. So what you may not realize is that inflammation is the root cause of all serious disease, including breast cancer. But that also includes things like diabetes, heart disease, autoimmune disease. All of the major diseases that we see in the world today are at the root cause is inflammation. Now, inflammation can also cause and show up in our body. How does it show up in our body, right? It can show up as muscle aches and pains, fatigue, like not wanting to get out of bed at all, brain fog, where you can't put a sentence together, hot flashes, loss of libido. Are any of these sounding familiar? Are any of these sounding like your side effects from breast cancer? It's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. You see, when I was researching this and curating what I wanted to put into my course, Essentials for Thriving, I wanted to make it as specific for you as possible. Because having gone through breast cancer, having been sat in my doctor's office, you know, that horrible white crinkly paper stuck to the back of my legs, because I would always have a hot flash going into the doctor's office before I looked at this approach. And I remember sitting there being so emotional as she's saying to me, Karin, I'll see you in 3 months. And I thought I'd be so excited. Right? I thought I'd be jumping for joy. And instead, I was sobbing. And I get home, and over the next couple of weeks, crying all the time. Hot flashes are driving me absolutely crazy. So tired. I could barely get out of bed. And I remember at one point, I couldn't even string words together to make a sentence. My husband was so concerned. He thought I'd actually had a stroke. It was that bad. And it was that point where I started to research and look, and I'm looking at those 24,700,000 results. And I'm saying, Karin, you've studied over 100 different dietary theories. What makes sense here? What makes sense? And then it clicked like a light bulb going off in my head that removing or lowering, I should say, inflammation would help with all of these side effects I was having. Not only that, it would help with what was my biggest desire, not to get sick again. So I was like, okay, that's it. I'm all in here. I'm doing what I can to not get sick again, to get my energy back, to minimize these crazy side effects. And I also made the decision in that moment that I was going to share everything that I learned with you. All of these skills are what I share in Essentials for Thriving. You'll find the link in the show notes. So, what does it mean to eat to help remove inflammation? I think we can say that we want it, right? We want our energy back. We want to feel good. We want to minimize our side effects. We want to do what we can to help lower inflammation. We want our life back. And guess what? We deserve it. And it starts with what we eat, because we're doing that minimum, let's be real, 3 times a day. So one of the great ways, and I go into this in depth in Essentials for Thriving, but one of the main ways to do it is to think about the foods that make you feel crappy, okay? Minimizing the foods. You probably already know some of them. You just might have trouble, I think, one of the things that I hear a lot is, Karin, I feel like cancer stole so much from me. My body, my life, who I feel I am, my identity, who I feel I am as a woman. I don't want to give up anything else. I hear you. I hear you. And I don't think living a life in deprivation is fun for anybody. That's why diets don't work. We can't live in deprivation, especially after what you've been through. So I don't believe you need to. I love to live life. I'm a bit of a foodie, to be honest. I love to try new foods. I love to travel and try local cuisine. And you still get to do that when you eat this way. It's not about eliminating everything. So for me, when we are living on this anti-inflammatory lifestyle, it's about moderation. And you may not have learned that before, right? This all or nothing thing that most of us tend to live in. It doesn't work. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of stress, which, by the way, increases inflammation. We talk about that in another one of our series here. Part 3, we'll be talking about reducing stress. So what do we do instead? We think about getting more fruits and veggies. We think about eating more real food that you know where it comes from, that's local or organic. And if we're eating animal protein, which I believe we can, I'm one of those people that whatever I'm doing with a client, if I'm trying something out, I'm always doing it on myself first. I used to be a personal trainer, and so I would never give an exercise to somebody without trying it out first. To me, that wouldn't make sense. I still do the same now as a coach, especially when I'm talking about nutrition. I want to know how it feels in my body. So I actually tried. I didn't try. I did. I ate vegetarian for a month, trying on the dietary theory, trying to see how it works, making sure I got enough protein, which I did. And guess what? I felt sick. I felt like I had the flu, which for the first week or so, I kind of expected, but still after a month, I was feeling that way. And so I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to test this. I'm going to try it And I'm going to try some organic chicken, just 3 ounces. I'm going to see how I feel after I have it. Well, guess what? After I had that little piece of grilled chicken, threw it on the barbecue, nothing fancy, and all of those flu symptoms went away from me. So it was a big aha moment. And it's not to say that you don't thrive being vegan or vegetarian. It works for some people, but it does not work for everybody. And that's what I kind of walk you through in the process in Essentials for Thriving, is figuring out the foods that work for you. Because we're all different. Our bodies are all different. What we need is all different. That's why it's been so hard to figure it out. I share all the tools with you inside Essentials for Thriving. So as I ate that piece of chicken and all of those symptoms went away, and I said, okay, Karin, you need animal protein. And you might too. And the key here, the key is the quality of that food. It's all about the quality and nutritional value of the food that you are eating. Okay, we want to make sure that if we are eating animal protein of any kind, that it has been raised and harvested the right way. So important. I talk you through that and the exact things to be looking for in Essentials for Thriving. So just to recap, okay, what to eat, the right foods after breast cancer. You don't necessarily need to be vegan or vegetarian. Eating an anti-inflammatory diet, I'm using the word, is not a diet where you're living in deprivation. It's a place of moderation where 80% of the time you're kind of eating in this anti-inflammatory way. 20% of the time you're enjoying your life. You're having the things that you love. Right? Living in deprivation is not fun. You learn to eat the foods that work for you. And I give you this system to help start introducing foods in a way so that you know what to do and how to do it. Okay? So the right foods you find in Module 1 of Essentials for Thriving. If you want to learn more, simply look in the show notes. And this is the first of a 5-part series. So in the next one, I'm going to be talking about reducing toxins in your home and how, again, it falls under this anti-inflammatory lifestyle, how important this is to you to lower your risk of getting sick again, to not be feeling so tired and getting your energy back. Ooh, yeah. Toxins in our home, more important than you've ever realized before. I'll be talking about that in the next episode. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Again, I'm Karin Del Maestro, and you can find all the information you need over in the show notes. And I will see you in part 2. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Many thanks to the amazing Karin Del Maestro for sharing her Essentials for Thriving tips with our community. This episode is one of 5 Essentials for Thriving podcasts from Karin, so please be sure to check out the other ones. Please subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you next time.